like this is a sort of an elephant in the room, right? All of us here are female. All of us here are leaders, and three of us are in pastoral roles. And so I think that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about what, in your own respective context of your churches and your marriages and being moms, what do those things look like for you as pastors here in this particular context of Massachusetts? I'd love to, maybe Alyssa, you can kick us off.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question. Still figuring it out myself. We were chatting earlier, it's the fall in Boston, which is a city that runs on the school schedule. And, there's a lot of new beginnings that happen in fall, and there's a lot of adjusting to all of those things as a church leader, as a mom, as a wife, as a community leader, because everything changes. And so we were just talking a little bit about how just a season of transition can be really overwhelming, and trying to figure out new schedules and routines, but trying to keep the main thing, I think is something that we're constantly in our household trying to hold on to, especially in a culture that's very busy. The anchor of our family, and trying to prioritize or remember the way that my relationship with Jesus is first, my marriage is next, my family is next, and then my ministry. Is a constant kind of refrain in my head. And so in reality, it's like, okay, if I'm getting so busy in the ministry and I'm neglecting the main thing, which is me and Jesus, in the Word, in prayer, and then my marriage, and then my kid, right? And so, you all know this, but I started homeschooling somewhat recently, and that was a real kicker. To try to, now I have, this is what my family needs right now. This is what my kids need right now. But I'm also doing all these other things. And so I think I'm still trying to figure it out, how to manage all of it, when to do things, when to not do things, how to have healthy boundaries that are honoring God and my family. And so it's really hard. Thank you for the Holy Spirit, because I feel like we're day to day, we're trying to figure this thing out, but it's a lot. And a lot of times my husband's just doing what I figure out. He's kind of along for the ride, and it's so I think that the team, the partnership in marriage and family, and and how you communicate that with your church community. We have a lot of young people in our church, and they're watching how we do our marriage and how we raise our kids, and we've got to keep those things our main ministry above the ministry, because that's discipleship. The people that are in our home, that are spending time with us, having meals with us, and what they're experiencing from our family and our own journey with Jesus is what we're reproducing, and so there's a fear of God in that, and I think it's a holy fear, but it's really hard. It's hard out here in these streets. There's a lot going on. There's a lot. You're all carrying a lot, so yeah.
Cristina, what's it like for you?
So
in your context?
Thank you for. I'm gonna take on what Alyssa mentioned. I think you do have to prioritize, and your first ministry is your family, your husband. You cannot be putting out the other super fire when your house, it's on fire itself. So you have to prioritize your family, your husband, my kids, my home. And then I can do ministry, right? And one thing that I am very, very strict about is my Sabbath day.
Good.
I do promote a Sabbath day. It's necessary, it's needed, and I think it's a mandate from God to rest and to take that day and separate yourself and just, spend time, joy, life-giving time with your family, with your kids, cook a meal, do whatever, do life-giving things on that day. Because as you know, in ministry, you can be available 24 hours a day, right? So we do need to have healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries are important because, there's It's hard on the skin, right? So we
always needs you.
we need to have healthy boundaries, and I know that there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
But if you're overwhelmed, you're just gonna give from the crumbs, right? So we need to also stay emotionally healthy. We need to be healthy ourselves to be able to pour out to others. So a healthy boundaries it's for me, it's like, okay, it's important as well. So I think as I practice those things in my spiritual formation, it's like I put them in place intentionally because I don't want to give from the crumbs. I don't want to give from when you're tired and overstressed, like you're not what's going to come out of you. It's like you're not going to give your best. So it's important. And I think I'm not alone in ministry. Like it's in like last 4 years, and it's important for me as I go on for this to be a lifelong thing, to have healthy boundaries.
Yes. Yeah.
Otherwise, burnout, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Even in ministry.
Yeah.
Especially in ministry. So I think from the beginning to have those, discipline, right? Because it is a muscle that we have to develop.
Yeah.
Because we could be like, oh, but this person needs me, but also, there is something that you need to give to yourself too in order to give from a healthy place.
Yeah.
I think to the conversation we were having earlier, I'm very new in this. I'm a new mommy, 2 babies, babies. And so this is very fresh in my brain. I think I want to speak to the me's that are out there that did not have healthy boundaries and I think it's a journey too. It's like as your family grows, as you grow. About like I don't think there's like a destination. You have to continue to pivot to meet the needs and readjust to make sure that you meet your own needs as well, right? I think because I think this is very fresh in my brain. I'm going through it right now. 11 months postpartum with my second baby. My first child was really hard to adjust. Like I was used to just, doing everything that I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. I was like single, I could like do, and that was another thing too. It's like I was in ministry, pastoring for like 6 or 7 years, I think, before I got married. So it was very much like I had all this time. I didn't have to share my time with anybody or anything else. And I could just like, I think what Paul talks about, right? Like I can go full on, I could be available at all times. I could fast when I wanted to. Like I could do what I wanted when I wanted. It wasn't an issue. And I could devote all of myself to either work or my ministry or whatever I wanted to do. If I wanted to pick up and travel, I could do that. That wasn't an issue. And so when I got married and had my baby, I was like, oh, okay, I can't do this. And like, how do I reconcile that? Like, who am I if I'm not giving 100% here and I'm not giving 100% there and I can't give 100% here? And so that was really hard for me and like my identity of what it meant to be a pastor, now what it meant to be a wife, now what it meant to be a mom. And what I struggled with not being able to give 100% everywhere. I didn't know like how to hold that in like, for me, it felt like I was being authentic in these places because I couldn't show up 100% at work. I felt like I couldn't show up 100% at home, and I couldn't show up 100% at church, right? Like, so how do I do this? How do I hold these? How do I hold all of this? And so I think part of it is kind of reconciling that part of you, those parts of you that you were able to do before you became all of these things.
Saying goodbye.
And that was, for me, it was so hard. It was so hard. I grieved that, Jeannetta, for a long time. I was like, how do I do this? And so what was important, though, was I made sure that the 100% I was giving was with me and God, right? But even in that 100%, it looked different. It didn't look like I can shut my room in 2 hours and fast for 3 days in my office at church, which I could do before. I can't do it. I have a new baby. I have you at home, and I was like, Lord, I'm not giving you all of me. I'm not doing all that. I used to have quarterly fast, but I'm nursing. I can't. Like, it was like, what does that 100% look like now? And how do you allocate, those parts of you to these places where you're still showing up authentically, but it looks different from what it looked like before. And so I think for me, and I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, that was the hard part in figuring out, you know, the balance and what that looks like. And as my children get older, that's going to look different as well, what that balance looks like. And so that was.
As you were talking, it's really interesting. So I attended one of our local churches, has the Global Leadership Summit that happens in Chicago. And one of the speakers, she said something really interesting. Her career was an investment person. And so she was talking about this idea of like balance, right? And we somehow think of balance as being able to give fully in all of the different areas. And so, but the way that she framed it, she said, you know, don't think of it as like, think of it more, or think of it more as like portfolio. And you have different percentages in different areas. And so sometimes, you know, your kids might not get the 100% or the 70%. Maybe something else needs your attention, right? And so they might get less. And then you sort of recalibrate. But there's never this sense of like everything has to be 100% because it's impossible. And so you're constantly recalibrating the percentages in the different areas of your life depending on the seasons of your life and the needs that arise, right? And so that's the way, as you were talking about that sort of balancing at 100% here and there. You know, she said that, and that really resonated with me, because I think oftentimes, and I don't know if, you know, I think as women, we think, you know, when the conversation around balance, it was around how women could balance everything, to do it all, right? Do it all in our careers, do it all as a mom, do it all as a professional. I mean, it's everything, and it's impossible. And so the idea of recalibrating as the need arises, it seems less crazy making.
Yeah.